What is the most catastrophic first date you've ever been on? I'm never going out with a thick Latina again. She was an absolutely stunning woman. I'm talking gorgeous female, the kind that makes you do a double take and go humana high in your head when you see her, even though you try your best to play it cool on the outside. She was a 5'7" Latina with an athletic yet curvy figure that was shown off perfectly in her fashionable, well-fitting dress. Her hair was brown, flowing to her breasts in perfect beachy waves that I couldn't stop staring at. And her eyes were a piercing blue, like the clearest ocean you've ever seen. I was in disbelief that this bombshell of a woman was my blind date for the evening. She texted me before the date, "Can't wait to see you, Jeff," and sent a cute picture. Like I said, awooga. The setting for our fateful first meetup was a nice little bistro patio right in the bustling heart of downtown. I had heard through the grapevine that their menu had some to die for items like rabbit sausage medallions served with a balsamic fig compote, crazy spicy shrimp in a Thai chili sauce, and other delicacies that made my mouth water just reading the online reviews. And where there is shrimp, there's Jeff. I wasn't going to miss out on an opportunity to indulge in some scrumptious seafood. The place also had a great drink menu and allowed smoking on the patio, which suited me perfectly. I settled in with a glass of drambuie and a couple of cigarettes to calm my nerves before my date arrived. After about 15 minutes of enjoying the atmosphere and people watching, I spotted her walking towards me. The weather was cloudy with a chance of thick Latinas. The clicks of her high heels on the pavement and glimpse of her glowing hazel hair were unmistakable. I put on my most charming smile as I stood to greet her and introduce myself. Up close she was even more striking. Her eyes seemed to stare into my soul and her perfume enveloped my senses. I almost forgot my own name. We sat down and looked over the menu of tasty options while we decided on drinks. She opted for a fruity Mai Tai cocktail, and I went with a classic sidecar since I was already feeling nice and relaxed from my scotch. While we waited for our beverages, we chatted about life and interests, and really hit it off. She had an amazing laugh that was almost melodic, and the conversation flowed easily. Our waitress, a lovely woman in her 30s, came by to take our order. I chose the rabbit medallions in fig sauce, which sounded divine, and my date went for a light salmon salad. Everything was going perfectly. We were really enjoying each other's company, gazing longingly into one another's eyes between bites, giggling at funny stories, and generally having an amazing first date. Then, disaster struck. As our waitress was placing the salad down on the table, the edge of the plate ever so slightly bumped the bottom of my date's designer purse hanging off the back of her chair. I figured she might be a bit annoyed by the near miss, but what happened next I was completely unprepared for. In an instant, my date turned from a gorgeous, charming woman into a seething, entitled banshee. My beautiful date immediately devolved into a raging gorilla. She leapt up, eyes ablaze, and started screaming at our poor waitress at the top of her lungs. "How dare you? Do you know how much this purse costs? More than you make in a month. Not so humana after all." She continued her tirade as the waitress shrunk back, profusely apologizing with tears welling in her eyes. The manager rushed over to try and calm the situation, but my date would not be placated. I sat there, stunned by the complete 180 in her personality. The lovely, captivating woman I had been laughing with just moments before had vanished. In her place was now a petulant, rude stranger that I did not recognize. I was shocked and appalled by her behavior over what was clearly an innocent accident. After letting her shrill tantrum go on for far too long, I finally snapped back to reality and interjected, "That's enough." My sharp tone cut through her screeching and she froze, turning to me with shock on her face. "Shut up, you moron," I said. "How dare you speak to service staff in this manner? You, madam, carry the air of trash forgotten in the alleyways of this city. You are pathetic. Leave." That was followed by, "Why am I still smelling your cheap perfume around me? Leave now." She stormed out of the building, hissing at the waitress as she walked by her. After the front door slammed shut, I stopped to check on the waitress, who was understandably shaken, but grateful for my stepping in. I told the manager to cancel our order and got her name, Erin. I spent 1 hour of the server's time getting to know her, a married mom of 2, full of Disney World dreams for her daughters, a wonderful person. I made many friends that day. The food was quite decent, and the shrimp, definitely spicy.